Hey, what's up, guys? It's Books Nelson with the At Me Bro Show. Here we are for part 2 in this edition of Why My Career Is No Fun, and it's really the moving screens, right? So Devontae Graham is zigzagging behind Zeller, and so Zeller comes to screen me. I see it right away. I start to move up to avoid him, and now we'll see here. It looks like I'm caught by the screen, but let's take a closer look at what's actually happening here. So first of all, he's moving the entire time. Feet are actually still moving as contact is made, which of course makes it an illegal screen. Both feet still moving. But here's the other thing. Look at my player from this angle. So you'll see here, I'm pushing up. You can actually see my direction of me pushing up. And there's no contact made, but I get sucked into the screen. Why is my player turning directly towards Zeller here? Into a contact animation, no less. This isn't even a slight brush of a screen. He actually moves backward, not the direction, because I'm willing to go over the top of the screen and fight for the closeout, but I actually do not have that option unless I go all the way out here. Unless I literally run all the way around this radius, this is what I was showing you guys before, you will get hit by this, A, because he's allowed to move, and B, because he's armed with magnetic powers. So after Magneto screens me, he walks with me towards the man as well. And then, for no reason whatsoever, check out my idiot teammate right here. He's going to, for some reason, take an extra step towards Graham, which forces Gordon to cover Zeller, even though, why? What is he doing? If Graham shot this shot, he wasn't in position to help. And then I'm already recovered. And then long after, how many dribbles does he get after he is clearly not shooting or driving because there's 3 people in the paint? 1, 2. So on his second dribble, he jabs towards him to do what? I have no idea. Which forces Gordon to stunt backwards to stop the roll from Zeller. And then we see Isaac is now trying to cover Gordon's man. And of course, Terrence Ross is going to basically die on the screen and give up an open jumper. If this was happening the other way around, the AI would just be slipping and sliding around all of these screens. The imbalance of the AI's interactions with screens is it's just not immersive. It just takes you out of it. It just reminds you at every point that you're playing a mode that is strictly designed to I don't know if the word is challenge. It really just seems like it's here to frustrate you. Big Woke says they should have nerfed screens in the new patch. I totally agree. I don't know why the screen animations are so penalizing. We're all watching the NBA. People aren't dying on every single screen. In 2K, going back to this example right here, it's not just that I hit this moving screen. It's the fact that I die on the moving screen. Like, I get an animation that slows me down and he walks and he's never moving. Like, that's what we mean by overpowered. It's not like we don't want screens in the game. Screens are a part of basketball. But the fact that he can chase me and then I get sucked backwards into him, and then he can walk backwards with me. It's like, that's just too much. And I have bronze pick dodger on this character, so that's another badge that could use a buff, because there just have to be more intermediate, lower grade screen contact animations, like we actually see here from Ross, right? Look how he dodges this. Like I said, he died on the screen in the sense that he's late, right? Like he died here. He just stopped chasing. I don't know what he did here. But look at that animation. Can the players get access to this animation right here? We can't do this. We can't hop around screens. If I get that close to a screen, I'm literally going to get sucked backwards the opposite direction over here. Right? I'm not even going to come out on this same side. I'll literally go backwards over that direction. So it's just this. It's funny, man. Like, I like this game on launch. We already have one patch. These ankle breakers are probably going to make it worse. I know it's going to make certain park people happy because they're going to see people fall, but it's just going to make the good characters even more good and add this thing where, you know, you're controlling your opponent, but with your animations, which I'm never in favor of. He said he wish I could see the defense in the playoffs. Well, I'm going to see it real soon because both of these characters are marching their way through it. So, yeah, you know, I don't know why we have to die 1,000 deaths on every single screen, why we get sucked backwards into screen, why they are able to do moving screens, and the computer, meanwhile, has access to these gorgeous animations right here. Even though he doesn't get the closeout, he's still in position to jump, at least from here, whereas if this was a player, whether it's Park, my team, whatever, if you're a player trying to get around screens, you are going to absolutely die on these screens right here. And I'll admit, it's definitely frustrating that the shot stick, which no one was asking for a patch on, gets patched. And the number one thing that, like, the two biggest things in this game are defensive movement and screens, and we hear nothing about it. And this is a legacy issue. It's year after year. It's like, stop with the screens. Why am I touching the ground after every screen? And it seems like it falls on deaf ears. So, you know, at this point, we'll see what happens next gen, but this gen is definitely not looking like it's headed in a good direction because the stuff that's actually wrong with this game. Let me tell you guys something. I'm gonna end it on this note. This is about why MyCareer is not fun. No settings, no way to deal with this in any kind of way. That's fine. That's whatever. You know, dumb teammates. The whole thing is Vucevic wouldn't even be doing this if he had a defensive setting that I could put him on. If he was hedging, if, you know, it would be a very specific rotation. Because he's just sitting up here at the top of the key, he can't do anything. But that's not why this, you know, MyCareer has been bad for 3-4 years now. So MyCareer is pretty much dead to me as a mode, even though the story was a little better this year. But when you are trying to defend somebody who has ankle breaker and is behind a brick wall screen and they've got the buffed no meter button shooting, it's a GG. There's literally nothing you could do about it because it's two people on offense versus one person on defense. So you're going to have to give up the dunk if you're playing in Park. And in Rec for guards, it's just going to be miserable getting hit by animations like this over and over and over again. It's just going to be absolutely miserable because you have no counter to this whatsoever. You can't, and this is what 2K doesn't seem to understand, or they don't care, you know, because I know they watch the game. So I know they watch thousands and thousands of hours of basketball footage every year, and they know people don't die on every screen because they have the AI not die on every screen. Apparently, this is an intentional design choice that they think is good design work. I personally disagree. But the thing that I think fundamentally disagree on is if I don't get touched by this screen at all, look, he still has space and is forcing a rotation. We don't have to die on screens for them to be effective. He's still making me choose to go under where he could pull up from here, which is, you know, a higher risk shot, but he's a good shooter, so I'm going to go over because I have big men in the paint. But he still has access to a high-risk shot over here. Screens give you access to high-risk, high-skill shots. They don't give you access to wide-open shots every single time because you die on screens. So, you know, that's where we are right now. I'm going to look at the chat real quick before I get out of here because I see a bunch of people in the chat. Just watch Pro Stick. Every time you flick right stick up, down, your character swings his arms out shooting, then he steps back, and that throws me off. Well, you don't have to flick up and down anymore because they fixed the thing where you would do fadeaways. So I would recommend just waiting until the ball touches your hands and then gently pulling down on your stick when you use the right stick. Yeah, they definitely need to give us offensive settings and defensive settings in the game, in this mode of the game, because it's just worse. It's just categorically worse than every other part of the game. Like I literally have nobody that follows me on Twitter, nobody that follows this channel, nobody on my friends list that says MyCareer is the best basketball that 2K has to offer. Literally no one. 100% disapproval rating. All right, I'm gonna cut this video short right here. Hopefully the devs get a look at this and you know, at some point, at least see our perspective, because apparently they like it this way, because it's been like this for years and years, and we haven't heard any feedback about any kind of change in the future. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.